So this week we talked about digital literacy, if Google is making us stupid, and a little bit about knowledge. So to start off with digital literacy, I feel like in class we kind of steered off to like only making it seem like it was just technology, but it's actually like the media is within technology. Like, Google, all the Google applications, Adobe applications, and Microsoft applications, being able to use those. I feel like people have a problem with being digitally literate because with anything else, literate is like being able to, like, something. And so when it came to things in the past, subjects in the past, and being literate on those subjects, everything evolves, everything changes. But since compared to everything in the past, technology is growing at a faster pace. There's new phones coming out every single year. There's updates coming out every other week for things, and you have to learn how to master those updates and stuff like that. And I feel like there is a gap. And before, I would have thought it would have just been a generational gap. But now that we talked about and that I see a lot more is, there's also a gap when it comes to being able to have access to technology, to be able to access things like Microsoft Offices and things like that. These less fortunate communities, they don't necessarily even get the chance to be digitally literate. And, that is really going to affect not only themselves, but their ability to get a job. And, it's going to affect employers at some point, because it's like you go to an employer, you go to a call center job, and they expect you, like their expectation is that you can do all this other stuff. They obviously end up putting you through training, but it would be so much more convenient, not only for the employer, but for the actual person, for them to be able to learn how to use different medias and different programs before they come to the job. You know what I mean? And me, it's easy because throughout school, I've learned how to use things like Microsoft Office. That's what I'm or before college, that's what I was most familiar with. And I could do anything on those. Like, I was Picasso on anything on that. But, that was because as that progressed and became more complex and had more applications and I was able to do more on those, I was going along with that progression. I myself was willing to learn, and that's, I feel like, a big part of literacy in general, but being digitally literate is your willingness to learn and someone's willingness to teach you. And I feel like that's what we have to focus on. Like we talked about too, just because you have access to a certain technology does not mean you're digitally illiterate. I see that with my mom. She has a smart TV, doesn't know how to use it. She gets a new phone, takes her 3 or 4 months to learn how to use it. By then she already wants a different phone. So, it's all, I feel like with digital literacy, it's all about you wanting to learn as well as someone wanting to teach you and you having to have access. I feel like I said, technology and media and applications and stuff like that are growing at a really fast pace. So it's either you hop on or you get left behind. And I truly feel like that's what the reality is going to be in a couple years. But like I said, it's all about you and someone's willingness to help you. Another thing we talked about was Google, and is Google making us stupid, and how, research engines are affecting students' ability to do research. First of all, I don't feel like Google's making us stupid. Yes, we talked about knowledge, and that knowledge is pretty much a big, giant, like, Lego statue. And all the little Legos are all the pieces of information that we get, that we personally put together to get knowledge. And I get that. But, I think the main argument in that was that we're not able to recall anymore. But it's like, I don't have to. Recalling is a skill, and some things I can. But unfortunately now, if I don't have to memorize the square root of 165, like, I don't have to. You know what I mean? Because I'm always going to have my phone with me. I'm always going to have something. People older, I feel like it's an older people type of mentality to say like, oh, you guys, your memory is gonna get shot. And it's like, okay, I feel like it's a little bitter because it's like, oh, you didn't get to use these things when you were younger. But, at the end of the day, things evolve, things change, just a part of evolution. But back to like research, I really do feel like these search engines are helping a lot more. Like if you think about it, back in the day, and again, it goes back to, I feel like older generations are just mad because this stuff wasn't available when they were younger. Like I'm pretty sure there's going to be 20 years from now, when my nephew's in college, there's going to be some type of technology where he doesn't have to do anything but sit there. And I'm going to be like, damn, I wish I had that when I was in school. But like I said, when time first started, people had to go around and talk to people to get their information or to do their research. Then things started getting written down on record. So all they had to do was look at a book. And then the Dewey Decimal System, I think is what it's called, organized all those books in a library where all you had to do was go to the library, look it up in the Dewey Decimal System, and voila, you have your stuff. And now at ASU, I have access to a program where I just type in a couple words, put in my criteria as far as online, offline, journals, books, whatever, and boom, it pops up right in front of my face. That's just a part of growing and moving forward. And I feel like a lot of the teachers in the article that we read really agreed with that. And I feel like being able to do research is going to get a lot easier. Yes, I do feel like, we don't have the drive to have so much, like to recall things and know things. Because like I said, we fortunately, in my opinion, we don't have to do that. And that may be unfortunate for someone that's older or someone that, has to recall or, certain type of information. But for me, like, it's a fortunate thing that I don't have to do that. So